Bill Jennings, he's a REMAX owner in Iowa, and his business is very similar to mine because he also has a book of business, and then he's an owner and the broker, right? So you wear 3 hats. All right. I wear 2, that I'm an agent and the owner, but obviously our broker is Sandy, so you guys know the difference. So Bill wears 3 hats. You're going to even get it from a different perspective. How long have you been a practitioner, Bill?
20 years.
20 years.
10 years as the owner.
So Bill is also here today shopping, right? So Bill, check this out. I'm going to read you a text message from Chris that you're going to meet later today, Chris Usher. This is pretty incredible, right? So Chris Usher's been sitting in my DC Ranch open house. Is anybody having a problem finding an open house to sit? All right. This is the time of the year where you need to be all in on open houses, in my opinion. Yes, it is, a little bit of luck on who's going to come in, right? But remember, you can lead generate while you're doing the open house and calling the neighbors, doing the neighborhood walk. Remember the neighborhood walk that we talked about? And then also expires and cancels in addition to that in the same neighborhood you're sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. So I'm going to read this from Chris Usher. Hey, I moved the walker's appointment to next week. I just want to let you know 9:30 Cape Creek. So I can take Bill out today because we were juggling. So 2 things happened in my schedule. Bill was supposed to come here last week, but it rained so much. He pushed it to this week. He arrives on Thursday, and I'm like, Bill, I got a class to teach. And then I get a call yesterday from Taylor Morrison down at Morrison Ranch. They're opening up 5 lots today, and I have 2 buyers interested in it.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, good news, bad news, right? So I'm juggling, just like you guys are juggling every day between people. But she goes on to tell me about her open house, and she's excited because at her open house she had, where did she write that? She had like 4 couples come in from Iowa.
The weather, and I can tell you why.
Let's see if Chris answers. Let's see if we can put it on speaker. By the way, weekday open house. She didn't sit on the weekend. This was a weekday open house. But that was one. She might not answer. I thought it was in the text stream that she sent me, but she might have.
Was it in Cape Creek?
What's that?
Was it in Cape Creek?
No, it was right here in DC Ranch.
Oh, okay.
At the tone, please record your message. When you finish recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Chris. Anyway, I wanted to put you on speaker so you could explain your open house deal from the Iowa individuals that came through. All right, talk to you later. All right, is anybody here for a specific reason today?
I have some number for you to call.
Okay, good. We'll do that on the tail end.
Okay.
Yep. What are they?
They're supposed to be French speaker.
Great.
Supposed to be. I had some surprise. So. At least the way, so just.
Comment allez-vous?
Ouais, voilà.
See, oui. See, I said see, oui.
Oh gosh.
Oh, really? No way. That. All right, so Bill teaches, yes?
Submitting an offer for a bingo property, those are obviously different than a regular offer.
They are.
Yeah, so.
Feedback? Yep.
Well, I just have questions about it.
Okay. Have you called the listing agent?
Not yet.
Okay. So call the listing agent. There's usually disclosure forms.
Right.
That you need to
They
submit.
have a link that they're gonna,
Yeah.
that's it basically.
They'll send you an addendum that totally.
Yeah, but it's interesting that you should bring that up because I showed a bank-owned one yesterday. Is it the one at Mountain Gate?
No, it's Beautiful Lane in South Mountains. When I was out of town, Kelly showed it.
Yeah, now this is interesting. Who's worked a buyer in the last 30 days? All right, did you run in any bank-owned with your buyer?
Yep.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
I did too, but only one. I showed 12 and I only had one. How many did you show?
Just one, and it was up in Cape Creek.
And it was bank-owned?
Mm-hmm.
And then how many did you show
I
for
think
you?
one.
So these are buyers that you just happen to have that are bank owned? That you bumped into a bank, because it's unusual to show one house and it's bank owned.
This buyer is unique because it's one of those, it's a friend of mine that took an investor class.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
they were searching for bank owned.
well, he wanted fixer uppers, so I did a search
Right.
fixer upper. You and I both know sometimes they aren't fixer upper because the seller doesn't like that, even though it is a fixer upper.
Right.
So I did him on a search because he's everywhere, and he picked 3 houses and one of them was 2 are bank owned actually.
2 of the 3.
Yeah.
Okay, Scott, are you seeing your volume go up on BPOs?
yeah.
Really? By how much?
Well, in the last 6 months, I used to do like 1 or 2 a week.
Okay.
And
Oh,
now
wow.
I could do 5.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, turn down some that are too far away or whatever. But there's a lot of competition.
All right, well,
A lot of agents are
so
doing-
isn't it fascinating? I didn't see this until yesterday, right? That's why it's important. Remember that your owner doesn't compete with you. I give you relevant evidence, right? Relevant stuff out there. I was surprised. So I showed about 16 houses over the last 2 days, and I ran into 1 bank owned, but I had about 3 vacants that looked like they were borderline distressed. And it was fascinating because she picked the one that I wouldn't have ever picked. It's on Knutson in Mountain Gate. It's the house is just ugly, but she likes it. Yeah. Oh, that's my accountant. She likes it, which I found interesting because there was a lot nicer ones in the same price range.
Really?
So you guys might see some distress stuff coming up, right? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
Yeah, and I see stuff that's not even on the market yet, that's distressed.
Well, that's what
BPO.
Scott does is the
Right, yeah.
BPOs. Now, Scott,
Is that
this
inside
year you
out?
need to convert some of those.
I know. It's hard to, like a lot of them that I go to, they're occupied. Or,
Yeah, you couldn't
You know,
even try.
you
to
know-
But why
buy-
isn't the bank using you on the back side of some of those?
it goes through a third party, like Clear
Who's
Capital.
the third party?
Clear Capital,
Where?
in California. Most of my clients are in California.
All right.
They do the-
Have you gone out and visited Clear Capital?
Once, but I need to go again.
Okay,
because
that commission check you just got,
That Fannie, they're all Fannie or Freddies that I do.
okay, you need to go out there and reinvent the wheel and let them know how many BPOs and how many years you've been working for them, because you should have a better capture rate on your BPO market.
Get this, Clear Capital now has a new program coming out, and they're hiring realtors to go in and take pictures of every room and then draw a schematic, take pictures, and then upload the report goes directly, and then the appraiser looks at what you do. It's a streamlined appraisal. So, and they're pushing me, I mean, I don't really wanna go and take pictures and draw schematics with the proper, square footage and all that, because it takes a lot of time.
Right,
But,
yeah,
they're paying $150
yeah.
for each. And I don't even know how realtors can get away with it.
Well, you're probably
We're not
not,
giving a value.
yeah, you're probably not completely out of your scope, because now we're doing 3D imagery with
Yeah.
Zillow.
Right,
I mean, so
right.
you're not probably, which by the way, you might be able to get away with that by getting Deanne involved and just do a 3D imagery. Because she does some of that. Now, I don't know about the schematic and what you just said, but you might be able to get Deanne
It's just
involved.
a floor.
Like the
plan.
floor plans, I think there's some free
there's
software out there
apps, yeah.
that you
Fox
can
Brown
put
does
everything
them, they're
together.
pretty cheap.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the first call, right? So, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Bill. So I went on a listening appointment yesterday with a doctor in Fireside. His name is Phil and his wife's name is Marcy. I'm gonna do a live call right here to see whether I got the account or not. You guys are gonna see how often I win and how often I lose, because you guys always see me as extremely successful, right? But I lose a lot, right? You guys don't hear about the losses. I lose a lot. So his name is Phil. He's a doctor. I told him I would follow up with him today, and this is the follow-up. And then I'm gonna turn it over to Bill. Oh, I thought I had their phone number right here. Oh, I do in my contacts. I have a lot of Phil's. Dr. Phil. All right. Okay, hang on a second. Jeez Louise. So the interview went well. I'd be surprised if I don't get it, but I want you guys to hear it. Okay, here we go, Phil. Can you write this? By the way, when you guys send stuff on texts, put gaps in, because you know when you copy and paste, it goes to Google Maps or it calls them. So when you send a text message, put gaps in that. And you can do that either with dots or returns. But when you use the thumb like I just did, it can be frustrating. I'm just giving you guys that as a little tip.
The thumb.
Yeah, because it
Oh, I got you.
when you do shared,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, does everybody? I can go over that more if you guys want to.
Is it, you mean it won't let you find it on a map and stuff if you don't
It
have
just,
maps?
all I'm
Yeah.
saying is use
Yeah.
some spare spaces to
Right.
create some room. All right, here we go. Oh, user busy. Does that mean he doesn't have caller ID? All right, I'll come back to that. User busy, yeah.
What, Joe, what about the doctor, the dentist?
I let him go, Daryl.
Oh, you did,
You
yeah.
heard.
Daryl, right. No, I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, what happened? Because you called last week.
Well, okay, so you guys knew that Tanya,
Tanya
it's
was-
Tanya's
was-
ex-husband.
right.
So here's what happens, Bill. So one of the things that we talk about a lot is the harder you work, the world shrinks immensely.
Yeah, small world.
It's amazing. Small world. So I made a cold call here to a for sale by owner, and it happens to be my partner's new wife, and it was her ex-husband. And he's a for sale by owner. So I made a bet with Kelly here that I would call 2 for sale by owners and get an appointment. And what do you use to get a for sale by owner appointment? It's easy as pie.
Offer things for free.
You may have a buyer.
Offer things for free, yep. No, I like that approach, but be careful, you
Yeah,
gotta have it.
sure.
But what's the easiest approach? Come on, what?
Open house?
Yeah, so what do you say?
Get-
Please have an open house for the next weekend.
Just ask them, when are you running your next open house? And they'll always say, well, I'm not running one. Well, how are you marketing your house? And then you get right into what he's doing to market his house. But if he's doing an open house this Saturday, you just ask what time. 10 o'clock, great, do you care if I show up 10 minutes early? And he's probably gonna say,
Sure.
Don't come.
no.
I said, sure.
Okay,
But
good
I'm not paying a
segue.
commission.
Good segue. That was your drunk monkey. That was your drunk monkey saying that. Yeah, you haven't heard about the drunk monkey?
No, I haven't.
Okay, who's heard about the drunk
Sounds like
monkey?
fun,
yeah.
drunk monkey.
All right,
yeah.
Scott, tell her what the drunk monkey is.
That's that good guy, bad guy, and the bad guy's a drunk monkey. Tells you nothing will work and yeah, don't try, don't get embarrassed.
Yeah, because see, I envision him telling me, yeah, come over at 10 o'clock on Sunday, and you envision,
No, I didn't. I was just throwing it out there.
okay. That's what came to your mind though, right? So you gotta
I
get
have
that
the good
drunk.
monkey. I don't want the drunk monkey.
Well, yeah, but that was your drunk monkey talking. So I envision, yeah, come over at 9:50, I'll sign the contract. I'm tired of trying to sell my own house. Does that kind of stuff work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know that Saturday Night Live guy when he's in front of people like me. I'm the best. Hey, right? The energy is contagious, right? So how do you go from a drunk monkey level 3, right, to hey, I'm on top of the earth, I've sold 7 houses in 7 days to a level 9, right? That I envision him signing. All right, I'll come back to Phil. Bill, you're up.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, my name is Bill Jennings, good to see you guys. If you don't mind, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, just because you're probably wondering, who is this guy? How do you get here, right? Is that all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a little something.
Perfect.
I'll keep it short, I'll keep it sweet, I'll do the best I can. But anyway, this came about real quick, and let me tell you how this came about, I even got to be here today. So I met Dell at convention a few years ago, which is just going on. Actually, my wife's there, and I said I'm not going this year. I'm in Scottsdale instead. Anyway, we met, and then So yeah, kind of last minute, here I am. All of a sudden I'm texting Dell this morning, he says, hey, I gotta teach a class this morning. I said, you know what, I should offer to teach, because that's what I do in Iowa. I teach for the Iowa Association of Realtors. And I used to be a high school science teacher 20-some years ago, even when I got my license. And Greg and I were talking about that, we were both teachers. And so anyway, I've been teaching, this is my 7th year teaching for the Iowa Association of Realtors. I teach this across the state. New licensees have to come through me. Required classes, I teach some mandatory renewal classes, et cetera, so I do enjoy doing it. And so I just made a comment, I said, hey, maybe I should offer to teach something. He goes, hey, come on in and share something. So anyway, I
That literally happened at 8 a.m. this
yeah, that
morning.
was just like that, so I thought, that's okay, I said, no problem, I don't need anything, there's a few topics I'll share that we've been talking about a little bit and so forth, but anyway, first, as I said, real quick, real fast, so native from Iowa, I've been there, let's just say my entire life, 20 years in the business, I'm a husband-wife team, my wife is the best real estate agent I've ever known, she's unbelievable. I was in it long before she was, but then we talked about it, and I've got a sister who I got in the business as well. She's in West Omaha, Nebraska, who does, her team does about 75 million and has every year, so she does a ton of business, unbelievably skilled. And so I've known some great agents. We're in a really small market. There are only 250 agents on our MLS. There's about 100,000 population we call our area, but then you have Des Moines that's not too far away, but we really don't go to Des Moines. We kind of stop at about Ankeny, which is a suburb, it's boomtown, but either way, I can say this here, I say, I might not ever see you guys ever again, I can't get fired, I don't think I can get sued here. I can say whatever I want, right? So, anyway,
If you want us to turn the camera off, just say turn it off.
It's kind of like I'm going to speak to 100 frat boys at Iowa State University here at the end of the month. Same sort of thing. I said, I did it 3 years ago, maybe that. Anyway, we did, so this year we did 33 million. We still do a lot of business. Like I said, my wife does 70% of that. Okay, I'm in the office being the broker and so forth and doing this sort of thing. So anyway, you guys are very fortunate to have what you have here. Dell has a skill set that just not everybody can learn. He's got a ton of charisma, a ton of personality. This stuff here is fantastic. I was just looking at this going, wow, can I have this? Can I get this? I copyrighted it.
Patented.
This is great. What do I owe you?
Right, 301-5.
What do I owe you?
There's a fee
What
for
do I
that.
owe you?
10 million.
So anyway, so real quick though.
We'll do residuals.
So I got a couple things I want to share that I think are top of mind right now, but I also want to ask a few questions. What do you, real quick, boom. What's top of mind for you? What do you want to know about? I've got some things I'm going to share no matter what. It may or may not coincide or maybe play together. Anybody? What's something you'd like to hear about?
Time management.
Time management, okay?
What you do for lead generation.
Okay.
You know what-
Okay. So let's put time management so I don't forget here. Time management, lead generation, what else?
Converting leads,
What's that?
converting leads.
Converting leads, okay. All right, what else? Anything? A couple more?
Social media.
Social media, okay. My wife and daughter, I have another daughter. This is my daughter Abby here, by the way. She's graduated from high school.
There you go.
So she came down too, and she's getting a real estate license this summer, and I have a daughter that's 2 years older that has already gotten her real estate license and doing well, and she's fantastic on with social media and so forth too. Anyway, anything else? And you can bring something up later too if you want.
Like in Iowa.
What's our market like?
Yeah.
It's well, remember 07 and 08 when that happened? It didn't hit us very hard.
No, we don't remember.
Learn it
That
out.
was terrible.
Or,
Well,
I think we led the country, well, us in Nevada, right?
And
Nevada,
Florida.
yeah. And Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. The good news, the bad news is we don't ever really get the highs, but we don't really get the lows. What is it? It's consistent. We're in a small town. The thing I like about going to another area or a big area, high population area, is the anonymity. You guys understand the anonymity that you have?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have that as much. There's tremendous peer pressure where we're at. So you want to ask what our market's like? Tremendous peer pressure. We can't get away with the things, good or bad, that you can in some places. Now, One thing I believe in, by the way, my background, I didn't say this, I'm a geneticist, believe it or not. I'm a biologist, I'm a geneticist. And human nature has not changed, chromosomes haven't changed. People are people. I don't care where you go, I don't care what state you're in, people are people. It's all the same. So it doesn't matter if you're here in Scottsdale or whatever. People, things haven't changed. Okay, people are people. All right. So what's our market like? It's right now it's a good market. Iowa State University, Ames, Iowa, highest average price for real estate in the state of Iowa. It's a college town. There are 36,000 students at Iowa State. Kind of runs the town. So it's our average sale price is $240,000, and competitive like everywhere else. Unbelievably competitive. Got the same problems, same issues, same pressures. I have agents that we talk to say, hey, it's just not going well. I had a great year last year, and I've got no business going, none. Like I have nothing going on, and so everybody has the same things. I think same problems wherever you go. So I'm going to keep this in mind, and then I'm going to talk about some things. I'm going to blend these two together. So the first thing I've been talking about lately with all of our agents is just all the noise. You know what I mean when I say noise? Okay, noise is distractions, which is how it came up. I was telling Greg this. That's when he brought up the shiny object and the drunk monkey. All these distractions, all these people telling you what works and what doesn't, and this works and this doesn't. And I think it's hard to block out all these distractions and focus on what you need to focus on. And the word I like to use is execute. Okay, so I'm a former basketball coach. My dad was a basketball coach. That sister I just told you about was okay. And I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot from it. My sister is National College Player of the Year. She was a Margaret Wade Trophy winner, the University of Nebraska All-Time leading scorer. Like I say, so I come from a background of coaching and so forth too, which plays well into this. And the analogy I like to use is just, but I'm going to use a football analogy. Two-time National Coach of the Year, there's a guy in Harlan, Iowa, We ran 3 plays to the right, 3 plays to the left. If you look back at the New England Patriots, you know how many plays they have in their playbook? Close to 60. This guy ran 3 plays to the right and 3 plays to the left. Won 12 state championships, 2-time National Coach of the Year, he ran 3 plays. Okay? And so that's what I'm talking about when I say execute. Here's what you do. You do the 1 play and you do it well. Not good enough, do it again. Not good enough, do it again. Not good enough, do it again. All right, I think that is a big key, is to execute. So I look at this and I think, again, this is fantastic. All right, do this. You don't need to do all these other things. You don't need all this other technology. I'm not putting down technology or taking away anything that may have been said before. All this technology, you need to be on this app, have this app and this program and subscribe to this and pay for this. I don't think you do, okay? Generally speaking. There are a lot of things that make your life easier, but executing what you know. And so what are we talking about executing? Well, the first thing is, and you said lead generation, converting. So what I say is start being their agent. All right? So, in being consistent with some of this here too, is when I say start being their agent, here's what I just recently said to everybody in our office. Just pick up the phone, go through your database, start making your phone calls and said, and first of all, have a property in mind. You can go to your MLS. Is there a property that any of you seen recently that tripped your trigger that you like, oh, that's like a nice property?
Yeah, I'm going to show it to you today.
Okay, all right, awesome.
Yeah, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath right there in Greyhawk that is stunning.
Okay.
Yep.
So if there's a property that comes up, you have a property in mind. Now that you have a property in mind, you know what you can do? Call with a purpose. Get on the phone and go with your database. Hey Joe, there's a property you just got listed. Do you think you'd ever be interested in something like this? And guess what he's probably going to say? Maybe not, probably not. But you know what they'll do? They're going to reveal something else, usually, in the conversation. They're going to start talking real estate. You've started the real estate conversation. You go call 10 people, you get 9 no's, 1 person says something that's revealing. Do you think you'd ever be interested in something like this? Yeah, maybe. Maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now, maybe, and 2 years goes by like that, right? So you started a real estate conversation. In our area, we say, college town, hey, have you ever thought about buying a property for your child? You get kids coming up to going to school. You got Tempe down the road. Have you ever thought about buying a property for your kids to live in as an investment? You know what? Yeah, we have thought about that. Hey, great. You know what you do then? Start sending them stuff. Put them on an automatic email. Start sending them. Guess what? Done. Move on to the next one. Set them up. Maybe it's an acreage. They're even in town. They want to get out of town a little bit. Maybe it's just an investment, a duplex, triplex, 3plex, a 4plex, something. hey, would you ever be interested in an investment property? So, let me ask you, do you have any investment property?
I do.
Pardon me, your name?
Troy.
Troy, hi Troy. You have some investment property, do you have any multifamily?
No.
Would you be interested in any multifamily?
No, but I might be interested in more single family.
More single family, okay, great. Duplex though, if you had just a great duplex, would you be interested?
Possibly.
Okay, there you go, possibly. What am I gonna do? Set Troy up an automatic email, putting duplexes in front of me. But he also said single family. I think people who are renting, you can do the same thing. Have you ever thought about buying a house? So there's just start being their agent and just start sending them stuff. And here's the thing, the people you call, we talk about recreational property in Iowa too, and I'm sure that it's everywhere, you know, hunting ground. Or we say, hey, do you think you'd ever be interested in recreational property? I mean, who doesn't want some recreational property, we say. Or have you ever thought about, well, I don't think I can afford it. What about getting 3 or 4 guys together, or groups together, and buying it together, forming an LLC and buying it? Would you be interested? Yeah, you know what? If you think about that, let's do it. There again, but by doing that, 3 years later, 4 years later, whatever it is, you now are their agent. So if and when they have a personal residence to sell, you think that they won't think of you? You think they'll consider you?
Yeah.
You think they'll remember, oh yeah, there's this guy that's been sending me this stuff on recreational property, right? Right? So that's what I mean by start being their agent. Just be their agent. Just start doing that, okay? Now, next thing I'm going to move on to is, there's all this talk about video, right? We use video a ton. But let me explain. Here's something maybe you haven't thought about when I say use video. What I'm referring to is video yourself. All right, so this is the one time, the only time, I'm going to ask you, look at me right here in the eye, and I'm going to say this. Video yourself, and I'm going to tell you why. You ready? Because most people will find that they don't know what they look like in front of people, or what they look like when they do this. So standing up here, you know, some of you might, if you had to get up here right now, you might be uncomfortable having to just be in front of even your peers here, okay? When you video yourself, so this is not the video you were thinking of, is it? You were thinking sending out video, right? Like bomb, we use bomb, but I'm talking video yourself. So we did this the other day. And in doing so, we had our agents get up, kind of like Greg was telling me how Dell is like, genius. You know, he says you mention something, you demonstrate it, and then you apply it. I went, voila. I was thinking the same thing. I just sent out to our education director. We need to start having workshops. What a great thing. I'm tired of all the talk. Do, let's do it. Quit talking. Okay? So we had everybody get up, and all we did was have them read off a mission statement. Okay? That's it. Read off a mission statement. That's it. And we had all these people get up in front of the camera, we put it up on the TV, and we watched them do their mission statement. And some people got up, and they were unbelievably comfortable. Some people got up and were, oh God. Unbelievably uncomfortable. Now, what's the point here? What does this have to do with anything? What do you think? I'll tell you the number one reason that people get listings. You can watch all the videos you want. You can have all the programs, all the technology you want. If you get up in front of people on the listing side, different animal than the buying side. Two different animals. On the listing side, if you don't exude confidence, it's over. You must exude confidence. You must be believable.
Dell has a problem with that.
Yeah. So, here's what I say. When I go into a listing presentation today, and this is in 20 years and trial and error and every mistake made possible and screwing up and doing this, and there's definitely something to do with the teaching gives you some, I mean, the first time I ever taught, I was like, oh my God. You know, once you get used to that, you know, and then as a TA, it doesn't matter. I was at university, and the first time I got in the recitation was like 400 people, and I sat there and I think I just stared at them. Oh my God, you know. But anyway, so you get up in front of people, and anymore when I go into a listing presentation, I'm not suggesting new agents do this at all, but I don't bring anything. I bring myself, I sit down, and I'm actually boring and monotone. Believe it or not, I'm not dynamic. I'm not anything other than my whole goal is to be believable. Now, if you are believable, okay? If you are believable, you can say whatever you want, right? You follow me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you believe what I say and I tell you that I am the absolute best listing agent and your best option, and they believe you, it's over, it's done. Do I need to go through all this and this and this? I don't need to do anything, right? Okay, so how do you do that? You practice it and you get good at it. You need to video yourself, and here's why, because you're smart enough, you already know what you need to do. You just don't know what you're doing. If you watch yourself on video, like right now I'm watching every one of you. My whole thing in the last several years, I have studied the nonverbal part of communication again and again and again, and I teach this in one of my classes. You know, I'm sitting here watching you, for instance, and I'm reading every one of you, what you're doing with your hands and covering your mouth and this, and every one of you right now. I can't help but do it. In the classes I teach, I can tell when someone doesn't like me by their nonverbals, okay? So anyway, you get up in the video, you watch yourself, you watch your demeanor, you watch your face, you watch your posture, and there's several things you can do. Now, how many of you right now, let me stop for a second right here. Let's ask you this, how many of you think this is important? How many of you are believing this right here?
Definitely.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know in my office, and by the way, we have 37 agents. And we're the number one brokerage in our office too, which is about
How many agents, Bill?
37. We have 37 agents. We started off with 8, and we have 37. And so we some old money, even where we're at, there's money everywhere, and there's a couple third generation companies that have been around forever that do all the development, and we finally beat them out. So conference championship, yeah.
Are you the largest office in your area?
Uh,
At 37
No,
agents?
no, there are 2 other area offices that have 40.
Okay, so
40
close.
something.
You're
Yeah.
close.
So we don't have as many agents, we have more transactions, more volumes, more production within our office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you say office championship?
We call it a conference championship.
Oh, conference.
On our
I love
MLS, it's kind of like winning a conference championship. We have more agents, more volume, we're the number one company, we call it conference championship,
it. Nice.
Nice, yeah.
I said we need to buy.
Winners,
buy-
that's what
Yeah, buy one of those big trophies, put up, So, yeah, I gotta be proud of myself. So we have these people get up on the video, and I can guarantee they say, "Oh, I didn't get the listing, or I didn't get the listing," and I know why. They're not delivering. They can't deliver the message. You have the message, everybody can read the script, everybody can do this, and I'm gonna say something about scripts too. I love reading scripts, I never recite them. This is my opinion, and I am confident about this, and that is, in regards to scripts, you get the gist, you get the idea. How many of you watch the show American Idol? I, to this day, think it's the greatest show ever on TV. And I remember when it first came on, Ellie and Abby were watching American Idol, and they were going, I ain't watching that, it's crap. So turn that off. All of a sudden, I'm back there in the kitchen, this guy's up there singing, and all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm not watching this is ridiculous. The next week, all of a sudden, I go, hey Abby, why would that guy make it through this week? Next thing you know, I'm watching it, I can't wait every night, I got the DVR set, did he make it, I'm trying to pick who's the winner. I'll never forget judges, especially Simon, saying, make it your own. Make it your own, make it your own, make it your own. There's something to this, and I'll tell you why. If I hear, and I go, wherever I go today, if someone calls me on the phone, if I go to a salesperson, if it sounds scripted, I call them out right away. I said, is that a script? What? I always tell them. I said, if it sounds scripted, I don't believe you. It sounds like you're faking it. I don't trust you. So I don't ever want it to sound scripted. It can be scripted in its foundation. Make it your own. American Idol, be yourself, make it your own. I think that's more important. Be yourself and make it your own. If it is believable, they will believe you. They will trust you. If they think you're salesy or just trying to pull the wool over their eyes or using a gimmick, it's okay to go and yeah and I don't know, and it's okay to be yourself. It's better that than anything else. You don't need even
So you said you can tell when people don't like you.
Yeah.
So when you're meeting with them and you have a potential client, how do you change that mindset?
Get up and.
Well, you can't always.
I'm saying,
You don't
well,
like
you just kind of say, screw it.
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Which brings me to
That does happen, unfortunately.
which brings me to this. So when people ask about lead generation, we can talk about that a little bit from the standpoint of just start being their agent. You know, that's generating leads, and that stuff tends to come out a year later. You know, and it comes in time. As far as the converting goes, here's my philosophy on converting leads: is just find more leads. You know,
Yeah.
quality leads come in a quantity of leads. Have you heard that one before?
Right.
You know, quality time comes in a quantity of time. Sometimes it's just a numbers game. Find more sellers, find more buyers. You can't convert them all, but I think the people that do convert them, you know, and which brings me to, let me tell you about some people. Here's the key to them converting leads. Now I said, you know what? Remember how I said there are two different animals? On the listing side, it's about confidence. And remember, I got away from this. I want to say this. Come back to this real quick, then I'm going to talk about buyers. When I say a different animal, when I say I'm a little monotone, there is nothing that I do to try to, you know, I'm going to give you my listing presentation right now. I'll show you how fast it is, okay? It is fast. First of all, I walk in the house, and I always say, give me the tour. G-I-M-M-E, gimme. Not give me, gimme. Give me the tour. Hey, great. So we're walking around. The whole time what I'm doing is I'm developing rapport. All I'm doing is looking for clues. The best clues are books. You used to have DVDs, you used to have other clues. I'm looking at pictures on the wall, I'm looking at everything, I'm looking at the house, I'm looking at everything. I'm just looking for clues while I'm developing rapport. I'm trying to decide who I'm talking to a little bit. Who am I talking to? You know, some people talk about these different profiles, like a disc profile. You know, we don't have time to give somebody a test. You're smart, you get it up here anyway, right? You get a gist of who you're talking to. You walk through, you develop some rapport, and then you sit down and you say, great, and they look at you like, now what? You say, well, hey, you mind if we have a seat? Sure, let's have a seat. Always like, if it's him and her, both across from me at the same time. You know, I don't want one here and one here, so I'm going like this. And I'll flat out say, hey, can I have the two of you sit together? They sit together, and I say, so ready? Here we go. My mission statement. Oh no, let me actually do it here. Okay. Like, all right. Well, if you're ready, I'd like to communicate to you what I call my listing presentation. So I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about the market, what we do, and what you pay for. And then three, we're going to talk about price. Okay? So first and foremost, I want to tell you what our mission statement is. And that is to impress you to the extent that you will refer us. That's it. It is about your testimonial at the end of all. I want you to be absolutely ecstatic and be able to write something on Zillow, on our website, and tell everybody how great we were. Okay? The Jennings real estate team was fantastic. We loved what they did. They exceeded our expectations, and we know what it takes to do that. So, in regards to the market, it's a great time of year. About March 1st, March, April, and May are the three best months of the year. The market is strong. Everything's in position. I don't have a whole lot to say about the market other than we're very optimistic. We're feeling pretty good. As far as what we do and what you pay for, this is what I'm going to spend the most time on. What I want you to know, first of all, there's two of us, and actually five of us because we're a team. We have two other buyer's agents as full-time staff member to stay in touch, keep you informed, provide great service, let you know what's going on. But the main thing that you pay for is consumer confidence, less resistance to price. In other words, branding. I like to use the example of generic acetaminophen versus name brand Tylenol. Tylenol is acetaminophen. Acetaminophen is not Tylenol. Studies have shown people always pay more for name brand Tylenol than they will generic acetaminophen. They will pay less for generic acetaminophen.
What if you can't say acetaminophen?
Then do Advil and ibuprofen.
And what is amenophen, the other word you said?
Acetaminophen.
No, the one you said before. I tried to look it up, but I didn't want to be embarrassed.
Oh, anonymity.
Anonymity. How do you spell that? Okay, what is that? I don't.
Anonymous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's so many of us.
Anonymity means you go
Separating yourself from the crowd.
Well, no,
One of a million.
anonymity is for anonymous.
Yeah. Okay.
Is to remain anonymous?
Well, you know what? Someone's anonymous, right?
Yeah.
You don't know who they are.
Right.
Everywhere we go, where we're at, where I live, people know who you are. You know
Oh, I see.
You don't have that here.
Thank you.
You can go in the grocery
Here.
store and maybe never
Unless
see
you're
anybody you know.
I feel like I'm in. See, you got that. ex-principal, you got that right out of the gate.
Yeah. And there are different levels of it. Now, there are a bunch of small neighborhoods. If you go to the same grocery store, you start to see some of the same people, right?
Right.
But for the most part, the bigger the city, the more anonymity you have.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was trying to look it up, it wouldn't come up because I couldn't spell it.
Okay. So anyway, as I was doing my list presentation there, I hope you noticed that it is very, very like a little monotone, right? The reason being, there's nothing too exciting about it. I pause. I'm just very calm. It's for the reason do not want to come across in such a way. At the same time, I hit it hard with a hammer saying that we are the #1 team on our MLS, and by 40-some%. We're the #1 office on our MLS, and by a long shot. So don't think for a second, I still say it, and I mean it. The easiest way to say something with confidence is to tell the truth and say something that's very real. And you're not faking, it's just very real. Which is why newer agents always ask this, well, what do you do if you're not #1? Well, then you don't back away from it, you don't hide from it. Then you focus on the fact that, hey, and we say there are other great agents out there. But, and so let me come back to if you're new, say, yes, I am new. Don't back from it. Actually, exude confidence in saying the fact that, yes, it's right, own it. Thank you. I like that. Own it. That's right, own it. Because that's more important, and people will give you a chance if you're new, if you're, yeah.
How do you deal with, in a listing presentation, with somebody who has unrealistic expectations of the value of the house?
Oh, thank you, I love that. My price, okay. Here's my philosophy on pricing. Thank you for asking that. Because if I got out of here not answering that one, I would be like, I should have told that. Okay, philosophy. In class, everything's always $250,000. Always $250,000. So, you come in, you look at it, you go, it's worth $250,000. They come in, they say, well, we want to put it at $275,000. They go, what do you think? Ethically, you were honest with them. You told them $250,000, but they want to try it at $275,000. You know what you do? You list it. You know why? Because you were honest and you did the right thing. You said, hey, I think it's worth $250,000. They said, well, do you think that's too high? And I said, well, I think we better give it a shot.
Well, you're not really quite responding to my question.
Okay.
A house that's worth $250, and the guy wants $275, that's not unrealistic.
Okay.
Let's do your hypothetical. I'll role play it with you.
Okay,
I'll
go
tell
for
you.
it. Let's do it.
I want 400 for it.
Well, if that's the case, I wouldn't take it. I mean, as a percentage, there's something that's out. If it's
Well, wait a minute, you're
outrageous.
role playing with me. Don't tell me what.
Well, he did role play. He
Tell
said
me
it.
why.
Fair enough, you're right. I did not role play, and I said I wouldn't think. Okay, no, back to you. Okay, all right. What's your name, first of all?
Brian,
Okay, so Brian, I think your house is worth $250,000. What do you think?
well, you've already made a mistake. You should have asked me first what I thought it was worth before you put your foot in your mouth. That's a mistake for you to tell me what you think the house is worth.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you something. This is a time where I say I'm the #1 listing agent ever in our market, and I'm going to say no, I'm not. I didn't make a mistake. I'm the best at it, and I'm not role playing right now. In our market with FSBOs, nobody has listed more FSBOs than us. We did 33 million this year, and our #2 person in our market did 18. I still do all the listing presentations. I have to ask, I'm going to sound arrogant for a second. Remember, you're not going to see me again, so I can't.
Okay.
I lost a listing in 2 years.
If this were a real thing, I would stop you right now. And I'd say, you may not know this, but there's 3 kinds of lies in the world. There's white lies, damn lies, and statistics. And what you're telling me about your listings and your FSBOs and all that sort of stuff, that's just statistics to me. Man, I want to know how you're going to sell my house that I think is worth. And you're not demonstrating it to me yet.
Okay, well here's what I'm going to tell you. I think your house is worth $250,000.
Okay.
If you want to price it at $400, but first of all, in order for me to be real, I have to move forward with role playing. I got to be a little more realistic first. Let's go 300, okay? I think your house is worth $250,000, and you say you want to put it at 300. I say, well, we can give it a shot. Go ahead. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's worth 300. I believe, and I fully believe that it is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. And you know what? It's a strong market. Maybe someone will pay 300, but I'm going to tell you that statistically and on average, I said on average. I can have the court reporter read back to you that I said on average. then I think it's gonna bring around 250,000. If you want to try it at 300, well, I'll tell you what, we can give it a shot, and I'm gonna tell you this, I hope I'm wrong. I hope you get as much money as possible for your house, but just so you know, I'm not trying to lie to you, I'm not trying to buy this listing, and I'm not trying to tell you what you wanna hear. I do think 300 is too high. Now, you can call it 400, we'll just fill it in with 400, I don't care, whatever you wanna do. Put 400 in there. Now, in my market, as a percentage, if you go to 400, what I'm gonna do to you then is, and I haven't had that happen, I've never had anybody be that far off. I mean, honestly, I've never had anybody be that far off, but if
What do you
someone,
have in this market?
well, if someone comes in and says, I wanna put it at 400, then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say, well,
In this market, $250,000 is a cardboard box under the interstate.
I understand. I mean, I can up the values, but we can say, we can go from $500,000, but I'm gonna say again, if someone, so let's say it's 500, I tell you your house is 500 then, and you say, well, I wanna put it at 750. I'm gonna say, well, I would love to work with you, but I think that it's gonna end in disappointment. If you don't think that that's possible for you, then I'm gonna say, I'm gonna pass, but I'm gonna say thank you for having me here, and I'm gonna move on.
If
And I'm
you
not gonna-
indulge
I'm
me
gonna
to
leave.
continue this going along, that doesn't lead into another area. What is your philosophy on getting the listing? Will you tell the person, you're being very candid with me, but I'm wondering if we get to the point where getting the listing is more valuable than communicating that final price. In my original hypothetical, at $250, I want 4. I understand you think that's unrealistic. Do you still go for the listing? Or if you think the relationship with me is gonna be so bad, you'd be better off to not even bother? Or do you want the listing?
As a rule of thumb, I want the listing,
You want the listing?
because it's still a lead generator.
So will you take it at 400? You take my hypothetical?
In my market, no,
Will you
because
take it at 4?
in my market, because I'd be embarrassed to take it at 400 for my peers. I don't wanna be that guy that, if from 250 to 400, from 250 to 300, yes, I'd still take it, to 400, no. So I was looking for changes. Do I want the listing? As a rule of thumb, I want the listing because it's a lead generator. And here's the deal, they might change their mind. Now, if the person's a complete jackwagon, I don't wanna work with them, I do turn down listings. That's not to say that I haven't turned down many listings, but it's probably still less than 10 in my lifetime. Just to quantify too, we had, you talked about statistics, figures don't lie, but liars figure. And of course, I can come down here and lie, but that's exactly what it is. That's what we did. We had 130 transactions last year, about half and half listings, half buyers, okay? And I've not lost a listing, a competitive listing in 2 years. But in that 2-year period, I have turned down 1, mainly because I thought the person was just personality-wise, I thought they were gonna be too, whatever. So do I try to get it? Yes, I try to get it. Almost always I try to
You
get
said
it.
that statistics don't lie, but,
Liars.
Figures don't lie, but liars figure.
oh, figures don't lie.
Figures don't lie, but liars figure. In our market, we can't get away with lying because I'll tell you, anything that's ever said will get back to somebody else, and you'll get called on the carpet.
It does here too, kind of.
And and I was just telling Greg here, my number 1 class I teach is ethics. My favorite class is ethics, and we don't
It's too
talk.
bad Finelli's not here today.
I know.
He'd be eating this shit up. You guys give him a hard time.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I love, as I said, with that said, maybe not. Here, I go into when it comes to pricing again, I want to finish this. I don't know if I locked in on this one. And that is, someone says, well, I want to try this. I say, great. You know what I say? I'm not always right. I say, I've been wrong before. Matter of fact, I tell them an example when I was wrong. I think that exudes confidence.
Right.
I say, you know what? There was an example, this little acreage. We priced it at 260. I told them to walk in. I said, I think it's probably worth 260,000. They go, we want to put it at 290. I said, well, you know what? I hope I'm wrong. I hope you get that. Let's give it a shot. And guess what? We had 2 offers and it sold for 290. Man, was I wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong. Yeah.
Do you give a time frame from the day you go on the market? Like if it's overpriced, like it's 2 weeks,
Yeah,
try
okay.
for 2 weeks and we go down.
Here's what I say right here. Number 10, magic number 10. My rule of thumb is this: 10 showings. If we have had 10 showings and not one person has come back for a second time, or their agent has not called me to say, hey, if you get an offer, would you let me know? Then we need to have a discussion. I don't say we need to reduce price, because here's my philosophy. If you try to fight with me, it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna fight. I'm say, hey, it's your call, it's your decision, it's your money. I don't care. You know, the whole thing, like with the questions you ask, go for it. Do what you want then. I don't care. Next, I'll go on to the next person. I'll find the next person I'll work with. That's reasonable. I'll find the next person that I'll work with. Next, next, next. Yeah.
You have a dynamic in your market that I don't really think we have here, and that's that it's more familiar, people know each other. The prices of the houses don't vary as much. I mean, I won't say constantly, but I frequently see situations where in a listing presentation, I think the target price for the house is $1.3 million. And the guy says to me, I want $2 million. And I understand your analysis, but the problem in this market is there's plenty of agents that are gonna tell them, oh yeah, I'm gonna sell your house for $2 million.
Okay.
Plenty of them.
We had that too. So here's what I do is I prep them for it, and I say this. You know what you do? You tell them just that. You tell them just that. Say, here's how I avoid pricing. I have taught, and you should always avoid pricing as an issue, unless it's that extreme that we just talked about. Now that's still extreme, but we're using numbers here, but the numbers don't matter. It's the fact that you say, hey, you can meet with 5 other agents, and they can tell you a different number. There are 5 different numbers, and you know what? You might have somebody that tells you what you want to hear. It's called buying a listing. They want to get you all excited and hyped up. And I've heard so many times before in my career, well, this person over here was just a little more excited about our property. No, they told you a higher number. They weren't excited about your property. They told you a higher number. Okay, so what I do is I explain that. And I said, here's the deal. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you get $2 million. I hope you get everything you want for that property. If you get that $2 million or you get that, great, way to go, man. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to be honest with you. But what I think doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter. I'm going to market your property. I'm going to get activity. I'm going to guarantee you some showings. I'm going to guarantee you exposure. And that's what I'm going to do. And in the meantime, it's hopefully we work well together. But I'm not going to lie to you. And you know what? I think that's the best you can do. And if that's not good enough, next.
Yeah.
I don't wait on one a-hole,
Yeah.
okay, and let it ruin my day or my career or my week. I say, you know what, next. And I talk to 10 more people. Just like I always say to new agents, you know what? When you have only one pending and that thing falls through, it's devastating. Because guess what? Your entire business just went down the toilet. But if you have 10 listings or 10 sales pending and one falls through, no big deal. So always have something in the hopper. Always have something going. Have something else to concentrate on. Okay? So that's my opinion on that. Now, I talked about sellers and exuding confidence. On the flip side with buyers, here is where, again, I talk about video and executing your nonverbal communication. Do you, in video, when you see yourself, you'll find yourself doing things that you didn't know you were doing. You're going, oh, man, I shouldn't do that. Oh, man, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I said it like that, you know. Your tone, your tempo. You're smart. You'll figure it out. Just watch yourself. Trust me. Do your listing presentation in front of other people, okay? Do it in front of some peers. You can do it here in a workshop. You can have everybody get up and do it in front of, and you go, oh my gosh. One guy, we did it. He did something, he went like this. He went, that wasn't good, okay? All right, now, on the buying side, and by the way, 2 last things. One, you oftentimes get the listing, at least in our area we say, you got the listing, you didn't get the listing the day you walked into the listing presentation either. Actually 3 of these, I think 3 of these. And that is, you got the listing presentation, or the listing, when you saw them at the game, when you saw them in the supermarket, when you saw them on the street, that's when you got the listing. There are a lot of times that you don't have to compete for the listing. You got it because you saw them out and about and you made them feel good. Okay, secondly, buyers. So that's the animal. The buying animal is this. How many of you, if you would, raise your hand, please, if you would love to be some form of superstar. I'm not talking real estate. Rock star, superstar, athletic star. Raise your hand if you'd like to be that. If I could, look at that, right there. If I could be anything, if I could just sing and perform, gosh, what I wouldn't give to do that. Get up there and, you know, get up there and
Come
jam.
from American Idol fan.
That's right,
People
okay?
wanna hear you.
Now, just real quick, I mean, I can't sing, but I will tell you, I can dance. I was born with the ability to dance.
Andy, is that true?
Here, you liar. Let's see it.
I have videos.
Wait, can he really dance though?
Yeah, he's got.
Let's see it.
What kind of dancing?
Show us your best
Hip
one.
hop.
Oh, that's easy.
Break.
Oh,
You gotta take him
Yeah.
dancing tonight.
I grew up with, you guys know.
Okay, wait, Bill, you are absolutely invited back.
Roger that.
Yeah, absolutely.
My best routine, believe it or not, is my disco routine. There's none of this. There's none of that. My
No.
best routine is my disco routine.
What, the sprinkler?
You guys remember Disco Inferno from the movie Saturday Night Fever?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
scene? Okay.
Oh,
Before the total hip, I could do every bit of that.
Oh, see.
I had a total hip replacement, which has affected a few things, but not. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about this. Are you rock stars? Okay. So here's what I say: if you want to be a rock star or a superstar, if you want to be a superstar, you know, you look and you go, I'm at 6'10", I can't jump, can't run, can't sing, can't, you know, I don't have a 36 on my ACT. But one thing you do have control over is attitude. Okay, and being happy for other people. You want to do something that not everybody else can do? You want to do something not everybody else can do? Sure. I'm asking a question.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, be happy for other people.
Right.
Yeah.
If you can be happy for other people, it is 5 times more effective to be there for people in times of joy
Right.
than times of sorrow.
Gratitude.
Times of joy than times of sorrow. If you can be there for happy for other people. So someone says social media. You know how we use social media? Number one, we spend a ton of money on social media, boosting, etc. But at the same time, we use social media to creep. But we go from here, look at this, we go from here and we put it in the mail. You know what I mean by that? We find out what's going on in somebody's life on social media. Creep, 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 creep. We have all the paid
You
creepers.
got all the paid creepers.
Okay, and then we go down, we find something, and we see some accomplishment that happened, even if the kids did it, we put it in a note card and we send it. If it comes in the mail, it's like, oh my gosh, you got something in the mail today.
Yeah.
It's a
Yes,
big
that
deal.
is,
If you get
yeah.
something, you can respond on Facebook all you like, you can like with the other 250 likes, or you can put it in the mail in a note card. Bam, 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 bam.
Handwritten
Money.
note, right?
That's right, we handwrite it. You want to know, well, my sister does 75 million, well, my wife is the best real estate agent I've ever known. I just think we'd do a lot more if we were in a bigger market. I know we would.
Yeah.
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 But that's why we do. That's what we do.
Come on down.
So
There's lots.
I'd love to
We
hear.
got a great company we recommend to
So
you.
this stuff right here, this is fantastic. And one of the things, start finding out what's going on. Be happy for people when you see them. And so here's the last example. We were just talking about the listing exuding confidence. All right. One thing you can do is there was this kid 4 years ago. Now in our market, this is a big deal. His name's Colin. And he was selling protein shakes, like these Herbalife shakes. Had this little shop on Main Street, Names. And I walk in there, I'm like, man, I'm fat. I got to lose weight. I got to go down and get these protein shakes. I hate these things, but I go up the counter, you know. I'm sitting there in line waiting. I look back around the corner at this kid. And I'm going, he's good. He's good. Man, he's good. He's only 23 at the time. I said, he's good. So I come back the next day and I waited for everybody to leave because it's kind of a noon rush. And I go up to him and I say, hey, you know anything about real estate? He goes, no. I said, would you like to? He goes, sure. Well, that was 4 years ago, so he was our #1 individual agent this year. His take home was, I think he took home $375,000, which in our market's fantastic.
Wow.
That's a lot of money for a 27-year-old kid.
Yep.
But the thing, here's what the kid has going for him. This is what I noticed. And, you know, he's just, honestly, he's an average-looking guy. He's an average-looking guy. And, you know, to look at him, but when you see him, he's like, hey! He's so damn happy to see people. He defies gravity. His eyebrows go up, his jaw drops. You know, when he sees people, he's so happy to see people. Everybody's around him. I see him coming all the time in the office. He sees them. And by the way, I think there's other ways of doing it. You don't have to do it his style. Either way, when they're in front of you, they make people feel good. And I think it's a conscious effort that he makes. Maybe it comes natural, it doesn't matter whether it comes natural or not. there again, it's something you can better. I know other people who are introverted and quiet but have the same effect. How does that make you feel now?
Yeah, you know who that is, Leslie McDonald. She has that, I don't know if you guys have ever talked to her, but very quiet, but you know.
She has laser focus.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, that's what my sister has. She's so good at that, about finding something. Like she'd come up and say, she'd be talking to you, and all of a sudden she'd be sitting there, and she'd say something. She goes, I love your nails, by the way. She goes, or she'll come up with something, or she'll, but usually it's not something physical. Usually it's something about her personality that she'll point out all of a sudden. She goes, I've been talking. And you are just, and she uses the word you. Right. You. So, the last thing. You walk into somebody's house, next time you go to a friend's house, and they just did a basement remodel or something. You guys have basements down here?
No.
I'm like,
Very, very few.
Okay. So you go to somebody's house and they just did a main floor remodel. Okay, all right. I don't know. You walk in there and two things happen. One person walks in, they invite a couple friends over. One person goes, they go, this is so awesome. They go, this is great. This is, they go, I love this. I love those counters and I love this kitchen remodel. Okay. Love the appliances. Yeah, that's just so awesome. Those are great. Another person walks in, same tone, same energy, same everything, and goes, this is so awesome. They go, you did a fantastic job of picking this stuff out. One is about you, the other one is about the countertops. The countertops are amazing. The kitchen's amazing. The other person walks in and says, no, you are amazing. You are so good at picking out these cabinets. You brought it all together. I just love the way this goes with this and the appliances, and you did the flooring, and you got this little thing over here. There you go. I don't know how so-and-so just does so much business. I mean, like what do they do that I don't do? Well, there you go. It's stuff like that. Okay, it's stuff like that. So back to full circle, and we're done here. I'm done. When I say execute, when I talk about noise, it's the personal relationships that still people need to focus most on. And I see all these people all the time wasting time, worrying about how this looks and this, and that counts too. Everything needs to be designed well and this and that. Or they're spending time, wasting time on stuff that doesn't matter. And that's okay if you spend time on that, but these other people are not focusing on exuding confidence in front of people, making people feel good, doing the things that count. Okay?
You're from the Midwest, that's why I hear you. It's a big thing. Like, that's where I'm from, and I feel like that's definitely who I am. Like, I feel so much of like a connection with you. Of like, I always make sure I find out when I have conversations with you. Isn't it always about you and how can I serve with you? And it's just one of those where it's like, I feel like, if you really want to get to know that person and build this relationship, because that's what we're about, right? About relationships, having them refer people to you. Some people think, oh, how can she be so nice? Or it's like, what do you mean? Like, this is just me. Like, I'm a lovable person. I love to love others, right? Like, it's not. And it's hard to find that here. I'm just letting you know, I'm from Indiana, so like it's hard for me to be around too, a lot of times, successful people. I'm a loan officer, so I'm not a realtor. So to be around successful people because they're so busy in their minds that they sometimes don't see that. And so it's hard for me. It's hard for me.
What a great busy in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think it's about having the conversation as well.
In the moment, because so here's what I hear from people a lot, and it's got to be something I'm giving off. The first thing they say, "Hey, Del, you have a minute? I know you're busy."
Right.
And I'm like, well, no, I got time. What's going on, right? But I hear that so often that I know I'm sending out signals out there that are not good, because I'm not. I mean,
but to others you are.
Yeah,
because
But I'm listening to you. I'm busy in my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of being there,
Yeah.
The text message, the voicemail, the contract they got to write,
Yeah.
the lots that are being released.
Yeah.
I'm hearing things today that are really good.
Really.
Yeah,
Really.
and it's refreshing to hear Bill, because when Bill texted me this morning, I'm like, oh, he's going to give me some CRS bullshit. And you hear, because I'm CRS. Who's CRS, GRI? A lot of people forget about that stuff. And And this is good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think definitely he's invited
Very
back
good.
with
Yeah.
kudos.
Really good.
Yeah.
What?
Really.
Hey, give
Yeah.
me a reason to come back, please.
Every interview.
Your
I'm not
wife's
kidding.
doing it back there.
We're keying off.
I thought of one more thing I'm gonna add here, and that's, we talk about this sort of thing. Oftentimes people will email me, they won't say it in front of everybody else. You oftentimes they'll say in the classroom, but there'll be one person back, you can kind of tell by the number, but they'll say, they go, the thing is, I know that I'm supposed to be happy for other people, they go, but I don't know that I am. And they go, I feel like I'm faking it. And they keep bringing up the faking thing, and I don't want to sound fake, come across fake, and I said, well, are you happy for them? And that's when they come back and say, well, I don't know that I am. And I say, well, this is something I've read and thought about. And by the way, one of my best friends, he and I talk about this stuff nonstop. This is all we talk about. So I have a partner, if you will, in this. Okay, this is, if you talk about whatever you talk about, then you get, you figure a lot of stuff out too. And so we said, well, usually those are people that probably maybe don't like themselves enough. And now it sounds like, ooh, let's get a little deep, but that's the truth. If you look at it like this, a couple things just on perspective. If you realize what the chances are that you're even here, that you even exist today, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what the chances are that those two things came together and that you're here? You start to look at things as perspective. How great you are, you got your health, hopefully you do. I mean, wow, what a great world we live in. What a great place to be in. What a great country we live in. You start looking at it like that, you start feeling more grateful. All of a sudden you start to reason, hey, you have every reason to be happy. Combined with the fact that, hey, you have the opportunity here to be a superstar by simply doing those things, by having the right attitude. I think then that helps. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But that's a whole other topic. So anyway, all right.
All right, thank you so much.
Well done. I hope you'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so every third Tuesday we have company-wide office meetings. I think Bill could do the whole hour.